You know, after we're done with poker, I got a game we could all play.
What the fuck?
Who invited this nonce?
We have to keep him distracted. The police are raiding his apartment as we speak. Hey, will you guys keep it down?
Hey, loosen up, kids! I'm on fire!
Welcome back to another episode of the Panel Pals. We're your co-host. I'm MN Stash.
And I'm Skull Ryan.
And Mr. Skull Ryan, what do we have for the viewers today?
Well, mate, today we're taking a little break from doing the cartoons and the video games because we're just going to have a little discussion about Spider-Man comics of nowadays.
The non-mutant superhero, some would say.
Oh.
Why was that a tagline? I never understood that. Like, it's not that impressive, is it?
Yeah, because it's like, I understand he's not in the X-Men, but like, did Captain America also have the non-mutant superhero?
I bet it's
Iron Man's
because,
not a mutant superhero.
Like, Fantastic Four took the greatest comic mag, and then like, shit. We can't use that for our actual greatest comic mag.
You could have said like the most amazing comic, man.
The non-mutant superhero.
But like, did Wolverine solo book say the mutant superhero?
It's so fucking pointless. But at least now... Actually, not at least now. What am I saying? We prefer that because those are when the comics were good. Because now we are stuck with whatever we have been stuck with for the last nearly 3 years.
What the hell is this?
We're not making it out of the hood. We're stuck with this shit. You realize that we're not...
We're jammed right in. Yeah, it's not going good.
Well, it started with One More Day. The infamous
indeed.
One More Day.
Oh, when Spider-Man sold his marriage to Satan to save his dying aunt, even though she's like 90.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I found besides the marriage getting thrown away, the most insulting part of that book was that little girl, and when Mephisto's, or the daughter's like, oh, I was going to be your kid, but now I won't exist. And then they go like, no! And then it cuts to him being back at his aunt's house. It's like, you fuckers, you absolute dog.
Joke.
That's
and
like the worst thing you could do.
It was just so not worth it as well, because not only because of his relationship wise, but everything in Brand New Day fucking sucked.
It was in bad taste too, because like, so we have that I could have been your daughter thing, and we have MJ having a miscarriage. So it's like, what do you guys have against Mary Jane Watson?
The very first issue after the end of One More Day as well opens with Peter in a nightclub necking some randomer that's not his wife. It's like they knew what they'd done and rubbing it in.
Well, like when MJ's staring at him, I think she goes down the elevator. Was that at like Harry's house?
Yeah.
And it's like that's when she leaves the book for a while until she makes her return. And it was just like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? And it's been like that since, because now, like I said this in like some of my, I think my Venom video or whatever.
Ooh, knock knock.
The cycle of Mary Jane's character. We're now back at the relegated to a different series. Part of the
True
Mary Jane runaround.
Why was she ever in Iron Man? Just to annoy me.
I read it just so I wanted to make sure she didn't do anything like stupid.
Yeah.
That was the only reason I read it.
Your sources.
I just didn't want to see like Tony adding her to the list or some shit like that.
No, mate. He's already got Wasp, Emma Frost. They said Emma Stone then. What's she up to nowadays?
Her and Spidey, mate. Fuck. How could you leave Andrew Garfield after that brilliant dance he did the Golden Globe?
Oh, I feel like grim for them. I don't follow like celebrity drama, but I'm pretty sure them two were like soulmates, where it just didn't work out timing wise because they're still mates, aren't they?
Have you seen that like interview I think he did about her? Is like she was a shot of espresso. She was. And he's just going on and on like, oh, this
Yeah, he
poor
is
guy.
in love with her, really, but it just
This is
wouldn't
why he's
work. It's
fucking
grim.
perfect to play Spider-Man. He gets it.
Yeah, he's lost his love. Oh, mate. I was
Get
livid
this
the other day
bitch back
watching.
in the fucking suit now.
Me and my wife the other day were watching all like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 bits where it's like, look, there's Doctor Octopus's tentacles and there's Craven's logo. Bit of smoke, there's Mysterio. And I was like,
Dr.
and they
Capcom.
binned all this off because they had one shit movie, they binned it all off. And just
Like,
now we've got Spider-Boy.
Whether it would have been good or bad, like Amazing Spider-Man 3 is a whole different thing. But the fact that we were like this close to either getting Venom again or a fucking Sinister Six movie breaks my heart.
The plot, hang on, excuse me. The plot of Amazing Spider-Man 2 can be a bit dodgy, but all the actual fighting and the movement, it's the best swinging Spidey's ever had in a movie. It's like you put thought into it.
I bet it's easy. It'd be easy to cut that film into at least something decent if you remove the right scenes. I'd remove the opening scene. I'd have it start exactly where, with the back of his logo starts the show.
Oh, yeah, you'd remove the Peter Parker plane crash.
Yeah, I'd remove almost everything about the parents. Skip it all.
What it all?
But even if I add like deleted scenes?
Yeah. How would you salvage Amazing 2?
There was a scene where Max Dillon gets abused by his mother.
Yeah,
I think.
Have you seen that?
Why would you remove that?
Because it adds a bit to his character, and then when he returns home and he accidentally kills her, doesn't he? With his new powers.
And then there's I think just Peter sitting on top of a gargoyle, looking
Just
out.
chilling.
Like he's not even in his costume. I think it's like post Gwen death, and he's just sitting there.
Isn't that after he's talked to Harry about his blood, and he's like, "Ooh, he's in a mood." I don't know what you mean, because he's in like a grey shirt looking out off a gargoyle.
Yes. Is that Bruce the gargoyle?
Oh no, he's made it into live action. Nah.
And would you have MJ in the film? Because it wasn't there like deleted MJ scenes?
Shailene Woodley was gonna do it, and I've
weird.
not seen her in anything, but she doesn't really look. She looks more like Insomniac 2 Mary J.
It feels weird that Emma Stone could have, I feel like, easily played either one.
Yeah. Well, she's stunning though, isn't she? It's an easy like.
Did you see her haircut now? Off topic, but it's not.
Is it not too good? I've
It's
seen her
just
in
funny
that
because
poster
she's
for the
got
thing
really
where she's like a
short.
prostitute.
She's got like really short hair, and then Andrew Garfield's got like a hair transplant. It's just like the complete opposites of what they're doing.
Oh.
The hair transplant is insane, mate. He went from like the corners going back, and it's just in full effect now. It's crazy.
Ooh.
That's Spidey.
Is it like Speaking of Electro, dude, the movie 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, basically made an original character out of him, didn't he? Electro's never been like some Spidey fanboy in any comic ever.
Yeah.
He's normally just some like moron who gets electric powers. But like the biggest fan thing.
Yeah, and I'm Spider-Man. You know Spider-Man, he's a Sagittarius, you're a Leo.
He's like super obsessed, which was never really Max in the comics, but he was never really a scientist either. Like he's designed a full hydroelectric plant when he was literally just an electrician in the comics, isn't he?
I do love though his theme in that movie.
Oh yeah, mate.
When they build it up, they laugh at me.
I like everything but the lyrics.
And then they go boom, boom, boom. It's like, holy shit.
I remember him talking about that before the movie come out, Jamie Foxx, and he was on about like he's got this real cool build-up theme songs like they hate me, they laugh at me, and it was like at the time you're like, oh, that sounds hip, and then it comes out of the movie and you're like, all right.
It sounds like Solomon Grundy's like had a mad bender one night. And he comes out like he just doesn't know his own thing. But even that whole movie had some decent tracks though, because they had "It's On Again" by Alicia Keys and was it Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, that
That
plays on the
song was
credits,
stuck
so I
in
only
there.
recently heard.
And Gone by was it Philip Phillips or something?
Is that when he's like looking at pictures of Gwen and fixing his
When
wench?
life leaves you high and dry. It's a fucking banger, mate. Is that one channel, Cosmonaut Quickie or whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah.
He hates that scene, but he hates everything, so that made me like it a bit more. Is that slander? I don't know anymore. I can't.
Uh-oh. We're fighting on two fronts now. I do think Sony needs to proper stop shitting themselves. Yeah, definitely. Well, like Spider-Man 3, even back in 2007, Spider-Man 3 comes out, and people go, it wasn't as good as 2. And Sony like, shit, reboot it. No. Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out, and everyone's like, that wasn't that good, that. But instead of going, okay, like imagine if the MCU stopped after Iron Man 2, just because Iron Man 2 was a bit shit. Like, who cares if you have one shit one? Make the next one better.
It's like every trilogy at least has one miss, I feel like. Except Back to the Future, maybe. That one's pretty strong. Oh. That one's actually pretty perfect. The only thing I didn't like about that was the train at the end. I thought they went really over the top with the fucking train coming through. Yeah.
Yes. Mental, dude. We can let that off. That was the 80s, isn't it?
Oh, the 80s went batshit sometimes, and it was just like, it was cool. But what did you think of Electro now? His current state?
In the comic books.
Because I feel like he's in the weirdest spot he's ever been. Before he was sort of like a loser that had like a weird costume. We love that. But now he's like a loser with a... Yeah, but like, it's never going to get adapted, and it just pains me.
It's ridiculous. It looked quite cool in Web of Shadows.
They gave him a fucking sister in that. What was with that whole thing?
That's what I mean. They keep reshaping Electro up, and like every like adaptation does something cocky with him. The animated series is Red Skull's son. The new animated Adventures, he's a bloody school shooter.
Wasn't in Unlimited he was like an actual eel? Or
he's
like,
an electric eel, yeah.
Yeah, and then Craven's an animal. Is he black or is he an animal?
He's black. He's horrible. Like do you know the Stalker in Batman Beyond, where it's like there is Craven? Batman Beyond stole all Spidey villains, but it's still sick.
Because I can remember if he was like a sort of actual tiger shit in that show or not.
In Unlimited, he takes like a serum that is killing him, but it's making him powerful enough for the hunt. So,
like, how come some characters got like the eel treatment and then others didn't? It's just weird.
It's very weird. Isn't it?
Like the goblin,
like the goblin's not like an animal either, yeah? on the counter Earth where half the population are animal men, I'll understand if the vulture is like a real vulture, but a goblin's not a real animal. It can't be half actual goblin.
Didn't he have something going on with that lady though? The landlord?
I think he was the husband that she thought was dead, and like the father of the little boy. But like he'd been experimented on or whatever, so he couldn't go back. And
Spider-Man got assaulted in that show. People forget that.
Ooh. How
the
assaulted?
Rat lady.
Oh, he did indeed, mate. A cheeky, and he's a married man.
He casually, like, I feel like he almost forgot about MJ in certain moments.
Yeah, definitely. Because like he gets really close with that landlord, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh god.
There's a bit in that show where, in like episode 1, where Spider-Man's like he hijacks a rocket to follow Jonah Jameson to counter Earth.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Hey everyone, it's me, Spider-Man. I'm leaving the planet. And then he goes, okay, that's Spider-Man covered. And he takes off his mask and he goes, and it's me, Peter Parker, photographer. I'm going too. We are not the same person.
There's no like there was nothing different about the voice. It's like he couldn't even try to at least do something with like.
Jonah's not like, how would he take the photographer? Wait a minute.
Like, he didn't even muffle his voice at all. You could muffle it for that one scene. It'll make sense for us, the viewers.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm Spider-Man, I'm leaving. And I'm Peter Parker, I'm here too. What the fuck?
I'm leaving.
Yeah. MJ.
Mate, poor Mary
taking
Jane.
the kids.
And he's left New York, not undefended, because he mentions Reed Richards and you see Nick Fury. And I'm pretty sure he fights Doctor Octopus briefly in that cartoon's first episode. Like, you see a tentacle. But
yeah.
it's still a bit like, it's so weird. They should have just made that 2099 cartoon.
I didn't mind that Nick Fury, like, also respects Spidey a lot in that. If there's anyone who can do it, it's you. It's like, well, I mean, there's a lot of heroes that could probably do it.
No, you wouldn't get that nowadays, would you, mate? You think you can handle Counter-Earth? Give me. What?
Jackpot would go up instead, man. Take care of it in one day.
I'm glad I sent you instead, Miles. You truly are the ultimate Spider-Man.
The superior... They had a new series of that, didn't they? Superior Spider-Man. And it was written by Dan Slott.
Oh, yeah, it was like the 10-year anniversary.
Was
I
it?
just nearly choked on that cancer ending. 10 years since Superior, because that come out. I remember, actually, speaking of Amazing 2, that they had to cancel Superior quite suddenly because the Amazing Spider-Man 2 come out, and they were like, well, everyone's going to want to go read Spider-Man comics. So the very first arc after Superior has him fighting Electro. Because, synergy.
Like, during, like, the new Avengers run, he looked identical to Andrew Garfield.
He did. There's a panel in Spider-Verse where he's got his mask off, and you're like, that's Andrew Garfield. There's no getting around this.
I just remember that one where he's making a comic book with Captain America, I think. And he has the same haircut, same build, same face. I'm like, guys, can we try to hide this shit, please?
I can't believe they used his logo. He could sue.
So if I was Andrew Garfield, I would if I saw the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game. What the fuck are they doing with his face?
He looks, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, he looks like Michael DeSanta from GTA 5.
Yeah, what I don't get is, how do they mess up the proportions so badly for the Peter Parker model, but then had the perfect proportions for the Vigilante model? It doesn't make any sense. How did you,
There's Beanox as well, who already had, like, 2 good Spider games under the belt.
Even, like, Amazing was decent. And, like, all the costumes were like, they're pretty good. I do respect Beanox because Spider-Man 1's costumes in the first TASM game, but they remembered...
Yeah, the Raimi one.
But they remembered the soles were, like, actual shoes, or they weren't red at all. The soles were black.
Yeah, they're not just socks.
Yeah, and they remembered to put that in there, I'm pretty sure. Like, oh my god.
Nice.
So if we look at, I think it's volume 7. I'm pretty sure it's volume 7 of ASM.
Ooh.
What has got to be? Yeah, like the whole fucking train wreck. What do you think? When was, like, your first breaking point besides issue 1? Besides, like, the what did Peter do start?
Well, there's the whole, like, obviously you come in and Peter's, you don't know what he's done, you just know everyone hates him again, even though the amount of times he's saved the world at this point, you'd think they'd cut him a bit of slack. The first bit, because it's when it's first starting, you're like, oh yeah, it's shit now, it'll build up and you'll be like, oh, there'll be a good resolution, everything will go, he'll clear his name, everything will go back to normal.
It'd be like that Deji meme where he's waiting to prank his dad. And it's like day 1, 2, 470.
Yeah. But then, like, towards, you get into, I think it's issue 3, it might even be 2. And Tombstone, of all people, has got Spider-Man defeated on the train tracks, begging for...
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I've learned
You're
my
like, what
lesson.
the fuck? This is not how Spider... Like, he'd be talking raw shit. He wouldn't give in. And he certainly wouldn't concede.
Maybe he's just had the flu for the entire run. It's sad because that could actually... But if they went with that, we couldn't... Like, that's actually a logical, in-world, like, excuse for him.
Yeah, because it's happened before where he's weak and he's losing it. He keeps losing his bloody power.
But why does, like, a flu do that?
I know, because it's radioactive spider blood that gives him his powers, so unless the flu's in his blood, unless he's got leukemia, I think he should be alright. Like, but, why does he keep losing his powers at, like, key moments? He gets the flu and loses it. Sinister Six turn up, he starts losing his powers. Issue 200, he starts losing his power. Stan Lee's like, how can we make this a bit more dramatic for Spidey?
The best way is literally just have him run out of web fluid.
Mid-fall.
I love...
Mid-fall
it's like,
as well.
it's a cliche, but I love to see how he gets out of that shit.
Better grab that flagpole. You got to time his red. On my arm. When I'm alive.
I don't know how many times I've read the, like, that's my shoulder gone, or, my shoulder definitely went out of its socket.
I was reading Sensational the other day, and he gets trapped by Mysterio, and he's, like, stuck on a wall overnight because his sticky powers just keep him, like, hung up on a wall. And when he wakes up, his shoulder's fucking killing him. So that was funny.
I thought, like, if he became so relaxed, he would loosen the grip and just fall off.
Yeah, because he's unconscious as he does it. I thought the same, because he can, like, obviously control it. If he can rip someone's face off 1 minute and then gently caress Mary Jane's cheek the next.
Well, but if he just did, like, what he did to Sabretooth by accident, where he webbed his face, and then Sabretooth tried to rip it off. And he was like, Sabretooth, no! And then he's like, I hate you, Spider-Man. That was your fault, not mine, even though you warned me.
What do you reckon about when they say that his powers aren't that he's just got sticky, like, body parts? It's like electromagnetism. Yeah, this shit.
I don't like that at all. The whole
Not
point
really
is he's a spider.
Like, is it? Like, he can stick to glass even though it's a sheer surface. And there's one bit in Spider-Girl where she reverses the power, where she can, like, launch shit from her hands. He gets trapped in, like, negative zone or something.
If you take away that,
propels a rock.
But if you take away, like, it's not stickum powers, then he doesn't really have many spider-related powers, because then you're just calling his strength spider strength when it could be any other strength.
Yeah.
He doesn't shoot
webs
naturally.
Could have been radioactive, man.
Gah! Choke! An A-bomb!
No way, dude.
From this day forward, I shall call myself Radioactive Man.
You're right, though. He's got barely any actual spider powers. He's just got future sense. And
it's just the natural webbing, organic webbing is disturbing. One scene I do agree. In Spider-Man 1 is, you know when he webs the tray and he, like, leaves the cafeteria?
Yeah.
It's attached to his wrist, and he's pulling on it against, like, a closed door.
Oh, yeah, true.
So it's like yanking in his forearm. That has to...
In his...
There's no way that doesn't feel weird. And he doesn't, like, know what he's doing, so that means he probably, like, ripped it off. It's fucking disgusting.
Oh, yeah, bites it off.
You know what if I want? What if Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man never figured out, like, the hand gesture to shoot a web? Like, what if he was on that building? He stopped right before he did the right one, and then he just, like, left, and that was the end of the movie. That's a cute husband. Did your husband get it for you?
How isn't his identity blown immediately? Everyone in that cafeteria saw him pulling a web tray along with him. And then
that whole school's stupid, though. They're just all brain dead. Like, Flash is literally trying to knock him out with everything he's got. And he lands not even a punch, he just hits him in the chest and he goes flying. Jeez, you are a freak, Parker. What the fuck?
I know, yeah. Should never have been like, I'm not saying shit about Parker ever again.
Yeah. He, did no one look at the fact that Flash was throwing combos at his head? He was trying to hit him so hard. He was going, hua, 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 hua.
Oh, like the backflips and shit Peter's doing, and everyone's like, geez, he is a weirdo. Don't know, you know.
But even when he hit Flash with the tray, they wouldn't even call him a weirdo there. They'd actually probably laugh at Flash in that moment. They think, oh, the nerd got him back. Not like, what a loser. This is why the Dragonfly movie is always on top.
Where was he in Spider-Verse, dude?
Have you seen the edited photo of that where he's next to them? It's amazing. That's my dream movie. Dragonfly. Please be on the internet still.
I'll type it in Dragonfly Spider-Verse.
No Way Home.
I did see all them No Way Home.
I found it. He's next to Tom Holland. Oh, we got to do that for an episode. We have to look at that movie still.
Defo. Someone's modded in the suit into a Spider-Man remaster.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? They're all talking about their uncles. And then he's like, my one told me not to forget about the bitches. Fame, money. Don't forget about the bitches. Oh man, he's a legend, that guy.
Oh yeah, man, the guy from Naked Gun.
Yeah, Leslie Nelson.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I was watching that airplane one, that movie he did.
Oh yeah.
Where they had to fly the crashing plane. Surely you can't be serious. He's like, my name's not Surely. I am serious.
That little girl who's like, I like my coffee black. Like my men.
Oh, the inflatable doll. It's like the emergency pilot. Oh, God. Honestly, I'd rather a Dragonfly comic than Amazing Spider-Man.
Nowadays, absolutely, dude. Dragonfly would get shit done. Wouldn't get bullied by Tombstone. Wouldn't get, cooked by Paul.
Well, like you said, the Tombstone part earlier. There was the Vulture part.
Oh, yeah, he's begging Norman Osborn to come and save his life. He's been handling Vulture since he was 15.
If you think about it, if you punch him in the face, his face is not protected by the suit. He doesn't have the Blackie Drago suit. It is his normal one. You'd think if he flicks him, he'd die.
Well, I always thought, why don't they just snipe Doctor Octopus?
Yeah.
Or then, again, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where Rhino, takes off his helmet to talk to the little boy. Someone get him now. Yeah.
You're telling me that no one in Gotham City has had the balls to try to kill Joker if they were a police officer?
It's so annoying because you would just he come at me in the car. We were getting him to the precinct and he come at me with a knife.
The only person who would get upset would be Arkham Batman.
And he'd just sulk. He'd put on his Arkham City shirt again for some reason.
You'd see
probably because it still smells like Joker. Because that's what he carried him out to.
If you're the cop who did it, you'd see that little hint on the bottom of the screen saying press B and Y to activate the takedown.
I've been reading all them Zdarsky's Batman, and I will say it's a far cry from his Daredevil was.
What about the Tom King stuff?
It's after Tom King. I think it starts about 120 something. But Batman's just fought a robot that he himself created to kill himself. because Penguin faked his death, and this robot was designed to stop Batman if he ever murdered anyone. And the robot believed that he killed the Penguin.
Oh, what a flaw in the fucking machine made by Batman.
Exactly. And then all this Zera and R stuff has come back, like Batman's alternate personality. But it's now the multiverse of Zera and R, because we had a Batman 66 one. There was a Michael Keaton Batman Zera and R, the vampire one. They all attacked Batman. Like, there was a scene where Batman's like in his own mind palace fighting the vampire Batman from Blood Rain or whatever it was called.
Is that the Batman, like the actual Batman, or Detective Comics?
The actual Batman. I can
like,
get it. I think I'm still halfway through.
Detective Comics looks better than Batman, and Superman comics look better than Action Comics. It's a weird state.
It's very strange, but in the same vein, the recent not the current one, not Spectacular Spider-Man, but during like the Dan Slott era, the side books were the best even there, like Scarlet Spider, Spectacular, which I think was also Zdarsky, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was later on. Yeah.
Just because of how shit Amazing was, the side books were the place to be.
There was Friendly Neighborhood, I think, by Tom Taylor. But we don't even have like proper side books anymore. The Chrisman Shin. If you look at it like at it now, I don't count Ultimate Spider-Man as a side book because it's its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own franchise, isn't it?
Basically, it's just Spectacular Spider-Man. That's it.
Which is shit as well.
Yeah, so like, where's Web of Spider-Man? Where's Spectacular Spider-Man? Where's
back in the day? I know you know this. As of saying then, been reading Sensational, and every issue of Sensational ends with continued next week in Web of, continued next week in Amazing.
And they all had like fucking, they had to go back and forth all the time.
Yeah. Which it is annoying, but at the same time, you're getting a full story every month. You're not sitting there waiting for part 2. You're not getting like 4 part 1s and then waiting a month and then getting 4 part 2s. You're getting that month, you're getting Blood Brothers or fucking Mystery Vision or Media Blizzard. You're getting that full tale.
Because in the 80s
like Craven's
and 90s,
Last Hunt had it.
Yeah, and then Clones, or the Parent Clone story had it, and the Clone Saga went fucking wild with it. And then all the Scarlet Spider books had like limited series where it was like Scarlet Spider, was it Amazing Scarlet Spider, Spectacular Scarlet Spider, Web of Scarlet?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
He took over for like December 1995. He took over, didn't he?
Had like 3 issues in each series for some reason, then went to Sensational.
That suit though.
Well, I mean, okay, this is a perfect segue into Ben Reilly and the current state of Spidey comics. What the fuck has happened to Ben Reilly?
Don't get me started, dude. What have we done?
Zeb Wells not only ruined his character, set up a potential redemption arc, and then in the same volume where he did all this, ruined it again. What a moron!
Gave us a tiny sliver of hope, and then mugged us right off.
And it was a side. It was literally a side story within his ending comic.
It's like a last second. Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about Ben.
And then, Nick Lowe was like, "Oh, Zeb didn't like. Zeb was kind enough to lend in an extra bit of stories." Like, "Oh, you."
No, kind enough. Human dude. He's now. I don't understand what even happened to him. Like, he come back as the Jackal in Dan Slott's run. So he's been evil for about 10 years already. He briefly was a hero again in Vegas. Then Beyond took him in. It's all a mess.
During the Beyond stuff, he was Spider-Man during Devil's Reign.
Yeah, that was so mad. Going back and reading that, I was like, oh shit, yep, that's Ben. Like, he gets captured and unmasked and everything, and he's blonde. And anyone just reading Daredevil or just reading Devil's Reign in like 10 years will be like, who the hell is it?
Yeah, when like Ben Reilly's fully been buried in Spidey comics.
But it's the same with Age of Ultron or Rage of Ultron, the comic storyline, where Peter in that was Otto. because it came out in like 2014. So it's Superior, and there's a panel with him going, "Curse you, Peter Parker, this is your fault." And anyone who's just reading that will be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
But then how is it his fault? Like, you're the one that chose to go into his body.
Exactly.
No one asked
Just
you
also
to
being
do
a
it.
dickhead.
Oh, mate, like, that whole Superior story could have been avoided if at least one person who knew Peter had common sense. You're telling me that... Like, you're telling me MJ wouldn't be able to properly know something's up? All of a sudden, he's acting like this fucking loser.
Where Spidey punches Jean Grey before she can read his mind. Well, I don't think she was going to read his mind anyway, because why would she randomly read his mind? Until he's punched her and made her think, well, what the fuck was that about? I should probably read his mind.
Then he had that whole, like, Spidey force, didn't he? Like, everyone he had recruited.
Yeah, he had goons. They were like his master planner, like thugs, but dressed as Spider-Man instead. Yeah, he took over
failed ideas.
Rikers Island, or maybe it was the Raft, as like his base. Dan Slott's run is just a mishmash of pure dog shit from the very beginning.
Was it Alpha, like Kid Alpha?
Oh, the stars! And that was like the 50th anniversary as well.
What even at the start? I think of Brand New Day, where he's in. I think he was in China. He was in like an Asian country.
Yeah, after Secret Wars, this.
And he's like, is this
racist? Yeah.
For hitting Asians? I'm like, you're in Asia. It's like, what the...
They're attacking you. It's like Mr. Negative's goons. Like,
Dan Slott is like the definition of hiring a fat dweeb to write your comic book.
Imagine if in the original Prowler issue, Spidey unmasks him as Hobie Brown, and Spidey's just like, oh my god, I'm so racist.
I'm so sorry. Please continue.
You didn't target them because you knew they were Asian or because you knew they were a different skin colour. They were doing crime and you stopped them.
And you're in Asia. It's like, it's crazy that you're in a country populated by a certain group of people, which, you know, and then, why am I fighting these group of people?
He has Spider-Man say that. But then a few issues earlier, he also invents this Asian lusty, like, pure virgin silk, who's obviously aesthetic.
You're hiring, like, a fat dweeb to write this shit, who's never felt the touch of a woman. And he's like, well, first I'm going to add silk. And she's going to wear not even clothes, it's just going to be webs.
It's just webs. Because she's Spider-Man's bitch.
That was her character for, like, literally the first however many issues.
Yeah, through Spider-Verse as well. Like, she's thrown in right at the end. So shit.
And you know what's interesting? I found about that era, and if we compare it to today, we've done Jackpot. It was done already.
Literally.
And Marvel bailed out, like, because I swear to God, it was going to be MJ. There was no way that wasn't going to be Mary Jane underneath the mask.
No, mate. The bright red hair and saying
Jackpot looks the exact same. I swear to God, when they chose not to make it MJ and they revealed it to be whoever the fuck it was, she looks slightly different. Rando. I swear they changed her face slightly for that.
They must have, defo. I remember that. Because it was absolutely Mary Jane.
They knew it was a shit idea back then. Why would they do it again now?
And so much worse. Like, original Jackpot, she was just a bit lucky. But now MJ's got literal roulette powers.
Ben 10 watch.
But, she just might get the skulls. Like, yeah, but she's not going to get the skulls until the writer wants her to get the skulls. So even then, there's no, like, story potential.
If she does, some bullshit's going to happen where she just comes back the next issue. Like, what was the point of Kamala dying if she's resurrected?
Literally,
wasn't it?
To make her a mutant. And why the hell did it happen in Spider-Man?
I hate the variant covers they all did, where it was just, say, like, X-Men issue Well, the Phoenix one, which one was that one? Like 101? First Phoenix. And then they had like Kamala just in the ocean with them or just flying around. Like, why?
Like,
are we that tapped
like when
for
you
ideas?
Photoshop yourself into like a red carpet celebrity event.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is
like, I don't know if this is controversial, but the state of like the Marvel characters were infinitely better when Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel and Marvel was Captain Marvel. Even fucking Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel.
Nowadays, dude, I hate all of them. Like, everyone's a dick. All the stories are just shit. Like, Iron Man's like poor again. He got cancer, didn't he?
No, but didn't he come back in Civil War?
Oh, well, his villain Nitro did cause Civil War, didn't he?
Yeah, because the New Warriors were dickheads.
Wasn't that the guy who gave him cancer as well?
Yeah,
you know, Coldheart was there.
But I showed you that ad for like a random book in the 70s from Marvel. And it's like a Twinkies ad. And Captain Marvel's giving Nitro a Twinkie.
Yeah.
I was like, you fool!
Get away from this everybody.
Man now. Hoping if he just gave him like an expired one. He's like, curse you, Marvel. I will get you for this. Gives him fucking cancer.
Gives him cancer, dude.
Because I did see him in Civil War. And
yeah,
I was confused. I like Marvel. He's my favorite, like, Captain Marvel. I was like, oh, fucking finally. He's back, boys. And then I was so confused by it and what direction they were going with it. And that's all I read after that. I didn't even keep up to date. I couldn't be bothered.
The only bit I got it. Excuse me. The only bit I know about Marvel was his ultimate counterpart. Because I've never really been. He was a Kree soldier who come down to help them fight the Galactus robots. But his costume, dude, was sick. He was like glowing green and silver. He looked cool as hell. And he ended up working for S.H.I.E.L.D. But
I'm getting a search up for this one.
That was look at his costume, man. I swear to God's boss. But current Marvel, dude, I just don't care. It was always for me.
It's a mix of a lot of his
costumes.
I'm seeing a bit of like his first costume, where it was like that Kree, like that soldier uniform almost.
Yeah.
But like the old greenish, dark green, black sort of look also gives me some other vibes from other characters from that. Because it was like Genus Vel, wasn't there? Like there was a whole bunch of different Vels.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I can't remember fully, but I swear there was a thing with Carol Danvers and Spidey.
Yeah, very Danvers, briefly.
Mockingbird. What do you think of Mockingbird?
Oh, god awful. She
was there to basically talk shit.
You know that thing Dan Slaughter keeps saying it, where like an angry reader is a buying reader. They think if they piss you off enough, you'll keep buying it to stay pissed off. And Mockingbird had just had that stupid, like, ask me about my feminist agenda series, where she was just, like, god-awful, talking raw shit. So I'm pretty sure that was just to wind us up into buying them.
All I remember from their, like, relationship was Peter, like, laying on the couch or something, and she's like, you're a fucking slob. Like, that's my general consensus of that entire relationship. If I could sum it up, that would be like literally how I would just sum it up.
Sorry, I'm on the Wikipedia page for Captain Marvel, and it says on the cover of Captain Marvel #1, art by Gene Colan, out of the Holocaust.
Yeah, a hero is born.
Hero. Whoa.
The cover's sick though. Like he's just posing randomly.
Yeah, for the planets and stars, he looks sick.
There's no one there. He's just doing that for the aura farming of it all. You think like a random spaceship? Yeah.
It's like, what's that?
You think Magus is just like in that Universal Church of Truth, just going by in the space, and he just sees Captain Marvel just standing there? There was Mockingbird. Michelle was before Mockingbird.
Michelle Gonzalez, dude.
Was
I've
way
literally,
before.
in preparation for Valentine's Day, I've just read a load of fucking Brand New Day shit.
That one panel where she's just like pointing in Peter's face, looking pissed off. It lives rent free in my head.
The only thing of note with Michelle, other than she was Latina, was the chameleon Nexa as Peter, and she starts fancying Peter for it. But literally, like 2 issues later, he did. Of course, he did.
Yeah.
And then literally 2 issues later, Peter goes, "That wasn't me. It was the chameleon." And she storms off, fuming, thinking he's bullshitting her.
And then wasn't her like brother a psycho?
Her brother was a policeman. He was Peter's roommate, and he was part of the police conspiracy to frame Spider-Man for murder. Because every time they'd find a dead body, they'd put a spider tracer on it.
Yeah, because I remember something was up with her brother, and then it went to shit somehow. But what's with Dan Slott loved having Peter sleep with someone non-consensually?
Like keeping a mask on with Black Cat and Chip.
Well, like Chameleon sleeping with Michelle. You had Otto and Peter's body doing whatever the fuck he was doing.
Oh god, Anna
Isn't
Maria,
it like
forgot
literally
about that.
like the ghost of Peter going like no as he's watching Otto?
Yeah, and there's a literal scene where Doctor Octopus uses Peter's memories and Mary Jane to have a wank.
What the fuck? What is wrong with this guy?
Peter has to live through Otto's memories as well. And one of them includes one time he shagged Aunt May. They were about to get married. So Peter has to live through that.
Yeah, but
it
honestly,
wasn't Marissa Tomei.
It's a small price to pay to get memories of Stunner.
But is it big
Stunner?
Vanished? Just friggin'...
So many good 90s obscure characters that have just disappeared.
Dude, Joystick. Armada.
Delilah.
Delilah, dude, with the special font.
It's the coolest shit ever. And Mark Bagley didn't hold back for that. He did.
During that era, mate, it was the Ben Reilly era again. Hobgoblins like some half cyborg. Do you remember that?
And then there was Phil Urich was properly established by them, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because I can't remember, was
Green Goblin.
Was that early 90s or late 90s?
I think that was early because Harry had died and they were like, well, we need a goblin.
That story was...
Even though they had Hoppy right there, mate. And they brought back the main man, Norman, for the clones.
Man, John Romita Jr.'s artwork looks so much better when the inking's more flat.
Yeah, it looks sick in that where he's, what I'm saying there, with the cyborg.
Another thing about the Volume 7. John Romita's artwork was horrible.
He's lost it, hasn't he, dude?
It's consistently shit. Like, I was watching the Daredevil documentary, like, Creating the Man Without Fear, and Junior literally says, like, what's my style of artwork? Like, the deadline finish. Like, he literally says he just tries to get it out on time. And I'm thinking, are you, like, leaving this shit to the last minute for ASM? Because what are you doing? Whenever he draws Peter, bruised up and battered, it's the most horrific face you'll ever see.
Yeah.
It's so... I can understand it's meant to be like, oh, his face is bruised and swollen. But it's too out of proportion.
Looking back at his 2000, like, his early 2001s, like when he was with, I can't pronounce it, Straczynski.
J. Michael Straczynski.
Yeah, I'll call him JMS. When, like, you go back and read them and he's fighting, like, he's in Hollywood fighting the new Doctor Octopus now. It looks sick. Or, like, in 500, the best issue ever created of Spider-Man.
Beautiful.
Actually looking sick. But then you look at now and you can tell. I don't know if he just doesn't have to impress his dad anymore. But it's like, come on, you could have put a bit of effort in.
And you reminded me, like, with issue 500, we're gonna get to issue 1000 soon. We are that close. And it's gonna be like under probably Joe Kelly.
Oh no! All
issue
this time,
900
all this
didn't
build
even
up.
have MJ.
Is that the one with the sinister adaptoid? Where that one robot's nicked everyone's powers. How'd you nick Craven's powers, dude? He's just a dude.
This one was issue 900. It was like the brain thing. Didn't he kidnap like Flash, Betty? Wasn't Anna Marie there for some reason? Aunt May. Because I remember doing in my video, like I walk out the room at the end. Because I showed like one of the backup stories had Jimmy Kimmel. I'm like, I was like, fuck this book. Fuck, like you hear me slam the door. It had Jimmy Kimmel, but not Mary Jane Watson.
Jimmy Kimmel, dude. Ugh.
Is that not the one where...
I might be thinking of 800, actually. They flew through them, dude. Like, I feel like it was only... I remember when 600 come out.
I'm trying to remember.
And it was
600.
Like, whoa, 600.
That's the marriage.
It's after Brand New Day. Yeah, she's in that one right at the end.
700.
And then the story right after that's the chameleon one we were talking about.
700's when he swaps body.
Red Goblin. Oh, yeah. 800 was Red Goblin.
And then 900 is Jimmy Kimmel.
Dan Slott pissed them out. Like, every story was like 4 chapters long.
Man hugged the book for like 12 years. Mate.
He's tanked it because during his reign, we have to put up now with Spider-Verse, all this Horizon Labs, everyone's quirky, we're all hogging screen time shit. All his new villains were shit. Big waste.
The only thing I liked was he brought back the living brain. That's the only thing I was like,
that too, wasn't it?
Huh, neat, the living brain. That was probably the only time I said that. He also got lucky because Alex Ross was doing the covers for like one of the volumes.
Yeah.
The Parker Industries one.
I've got that up here. I've got issue 800 up on Google, and it's Alex Ross, but just stealing from the PS1 game and giving another villain a symbiote.
And of course, it's like the Carnage one.
Yeah, it's like we've had Carnage, Doctor Octopus. What have we had? So boring, dude.
The cover that Alex Ross did it's one of my favorites, is him and Norman are about to fight. It's another one where he loses his powers.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like a bloody Norman and Spidey like about to go at it. And it's in Alex Ross artwork and it just looks amazing. It's like no powers. I can't remember the other words.
I think there's a scene in that where Norman's like, why won't you leave me alone? What did I ever do to you? And like Peter flashes back to Gwen getting pushed off the bridge. Goes nuts.
Norman saying that is crazy. He did lose his memory for a bit though, didn't
he? Yeah, because it was that stupid One More Day thing. I don't remember how we got it back.
Oh, mate. The Nick Spencer run, the way they were teasing ending One More Day it's disgraceful. Having Doctor Strange got the Mephisto to go, hey, something's wrong here. What did you do? And the fact it didn't resolve anything is so... How did he get away with it? Oh my god.
I genuinely think that was Marvel at the last second going, what are you doing, Nick? Rein it back in. Because if you quit, the fact you can be the writer on the Amazing Spider-Man, like the top comic book character. It must be the peak of your career, but editorial is so annoying and so shit in how they do the business. You quit it.
We also know that Chip Zdarsky clearly loves writing for Spidey. Like, even the way he writes Spider-Man in the Daredevil books is always the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, because it gives him respect.
But I'm pretty sure he'll never do ASM because of editorial.
I don't blame him. As we've seen with Dan Slott, he's on the book for 10 years because he bows down to them. Bet you he, like, give them a little kiss every time they told him what to do and everything, you know what I mean? Well,
Your reward.
Nick Spencer was like, I'm not doing that.
Like, when Dan Slott said yes for the billionth time, like, okay, for this issue, you're allowed one hot Asian. He's just like, yeah!
Yes! But only if you clean your room.
Please have a shower. It's the office is...
Yes, maybe send this one through email, Dan.
when he actually got up out of his chair, like his skin was just stuck to it, like I wrote silk, and it's like because I know that Zdarsky doesn't want to write like an in-depth, amazing story for it to be just changed completely afterwards.
Yeah.
I wonder how he feels about the Daredevil book. The Daredevil one's shocking, man.
Dude, they're like, he's literally handed us the perfect finale to Daredevil's life. And the next month, Marvel went, okay, new fella. He's back in New York. We're fine.
He's a priest still, sort of, kind of. But what we want you to do is, we're going to make him not a priest anymore. But you got to drag this out for 16 months. Do you think you can do that?
Oh, yeah, there should be a...
If you put
Does Elektra
this
still
shit,
appear?
Yeah, vaguely. She's in it sometimes.
She's Daredevil now, isn't she?
Yeah, and it's weird because she's like, I'm not Daredevil in one of the Zdarsky runs, but she's still wearing the costume.
She's literally got the 2 Ds on her chest.
That's crazy.
The double Ds on her double D.
But even like, if you put this Daredevil run in the, say, 70s, the book would go back to bi-monthly. There's no way about it. Like, this book would not sell.
Go back to putting Spidey on the cover.
Black Widow would join again. Oh, you male chauvinist.
No, it You know it, mate.
Slip it to something barely legal.
How can we get such a good run, which clearly tells you how to write this character, and then the next one just shit all over it, dude? Well, we've had that with Spider-Man here. Nick Spencer was like, some of them were shit. Like, his 2099 story was shit. But a lot of the time, maybe it's just because we'd had not a much shit beforehand. But it was a bright spot again. Like, he was back with Mary Jane. He was doing Spidey stuff. He was acting like Spider-Man.
But even, like, say what you will about Red Goblin, or, like, the Carnage whole storyline. So, not Red Goblin. The Carnage storyline in Nick Spencer's run. It still delivered, like, a really sick moment where he's, like, his mask is torn half off. And his fists are bleeding. He's like, I'm going to knock you out. He didn't stop at anything.
He's not Carnage. I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, he calls Norman. I need the Carnage symbiote. He's going to kill me. It's
exactly, dude. So, like, he's actually being a man again.
It's, you know, it's even more crazy in reference to, like, the cycle of these books. How we're, like, now at MJ getting relegated, you know, all that shit. But we've gone through like one more day with Zeb Wells' run. We've gone through, like, before one more day, we had Ben Reilly almost take over and Peter looking like he's going to retire.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. It's the same thing.
Repackage the stories.
How are we just retreading this shit? But worse. One of my favorite scenes from the 90s is literally Ben and Peter playing Connect 4 in the fucking attic.
Where they're setting up the cot.
Yeah,
and it's like taking a break. Yeah.
It's like, oh, that scene perfectly summarized how good things could have been. We were that close.
What supporting characters do we even have now, then? Because we've invented Shay.
Shay. Randy's
there's
now
no
his
more
proper best friend, which is weird because
he's
it
like
doesn't
his
feel
new
real.
I always thought Randy barely tolerated him.
In the Dan Slott run, he didn't. for some reason. Like
Harry
he
Osborn's dead. Yeah, go on.
Like he took the moldy cheese joke
Oh, yeah.
from I think the
Kevin.
90s. But then Dan Slott made it like a thing that Randy hated, even though I swear they both partook in that. So it's,
Another, like, roll your eyes at Peter, the man-child.
yeah, he kept
That's
the
all
moldy
Dan
cheese
Slott
in the
knows.
fridge. But it doesn't feel real. Like, they don't feel like best friends to me. There's nothing about Randy and Peter that I'd go, yeah, they're like ride or die.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't have Randy turn up at the coffee bean with the gang.
You know.
And not because he's black. Like, you think Peter and Harry...
Everything we say is a joke.
Like, we've got Shay now, who's been invented for this, so she doesn't count. Randy, who is a character, so he's fine. And Aunt May. And that's it. Because we got Harry's dead. Mary Jane doesn't want anything to do with Peter. Flash Thompson, I don't know what's going on. But back in like the 80s, you'd check, like Peter'd see Flash and Felicia out on the streets and be like, oh, hey guys, he's on a run or something. Like, hey, it's Parker. Or they'd go round to his apartment. It was like Peter comes home and his apartment's been done up by his friends. Like, what friends does he actually have now?
The Flash and Felicia's bright.
Oh, yeah, mate.
Tights.
The neon.
Yes.
If you've got it, flaunt it.
I love when he wears and Peter wears the animal crop top.
Animal, dude, yeah, mate.
We need like an actual show that goes like episode for episode and just base it off each issue.
That'd be perfect.
Even if it's live action, just cast a new actor like or actress for whenever you go to the next stage.
Like a CW Spiderman.
Like if say like you go from the Ditko era to the Ramita, make it like the actor look like each version. Whether it's like getting someone new completely, like who gives a fuck, just make it look purely like the source material.
Oh.
Imagine the payoff would get when we reach like the 80s or 90s and we got Peter in crop top and Flash and Felicia in neon clothing. Nick Katzenberg returns.
Nick himself, dude, starts coughing on screen. You're like, oh, that's a reference to Nick's cancer.
You're like sitting next to your family, and like you're randomly like, oh my god, they just,
oh my god, they made him cough. It's law accurate.
God, I love being a nerd.
Or like, Jonah Jameson tells his dad he needs a little bit of space. Oh my god.
Fucking the Tinkerer. You see like one of the aliens slowly remove their mask, but you just see like that horrible bowl cut.
That's Quentin Beck, that son of a bitch.
More on Spider-Man.
We just need more spectacular as well. It was the last, like, bastion of good story.
What I'm confused about.
All went to hell.
Not that I'm complaining that X-Men '97 is a thing because it's great.
Yeah.
But out of all the shows, it made the least sense to really take off from. I'm pretty sure the whole point of season 5 wasn't season 5 like, okay, we'll lower in the budget, but you can end the series. And like, okay, because the budget was way worse. But then you got fucking Spidey, Mary Jane.
He's still out there, dude, looking, isn't he? It's like,
and then for them to search party,
for them to just turn around and go, oh no, look, he did find her off screen. That 20-year cliffhanger. Don't worry about it. We're not going to show you it, but it happened.
But here's the show that realistically no one asked for.
It'd be like if in No Way Home, Andrew Garfield had the symbiote. You're like, well, how did he get that? He just goes, don't worry about it.
Yeah, instead of like, I stopped pulling my punches, he's like, an alien symbiote took over and I stopped.
Let me complain about something else. It's so stupid in that movie how the other two Spider-Men had the adventures from their movies and then nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, when they talk about what villains they fought, it's only the ones we've seen. But at the end of Amazing 2, Oscorp was gearing up the Sinister Six. So did Harry just decide one day, you know what, I'll leave him alone instead?
Well, also, like, I thought it would have been a pretty weird regression of Andrew's character to say that he stopped pulling his punches, because the whole point of the ending of the second one was he was depressed, and then he found the light.
He finds his light again, exactly. He, like, digs himself back up and gets back into it.
The whole point was he was missing.
Yeah. Like, imagine if when he lands and he's like, listen, little kid, I'll handle this guy, you go take care of your mom. If he went down and went, I'm going to fucking kill this dickhead, and then you're next, you don't get out of here.
He as soon as, like, Rhino's thing's open, he webs so perfectly, it, like, suffocates his mouth.
It pulls off his jaw with a web line. It's like, this is Spider-Man now. It's on again. Whoa.
When life leaves you high and dry, we at your daughter. They play that song as he goes, like, on a rampage, just punching everyone in the face.
He, like, busts into Oscorp and just rips, like, the vulture wings apart before they get any use. As this, like, mellow guitars on in the back.
He goes up, this is my house and I do the laundry. Get out, bitch! Punches her right in the...
Fuck you, laundry sheriff.
He goes flying through the door, and he's like, here's the American flag, bitch. Throws it on. I stopped pulling my punches.
Andrew's Spider-Man would be perfect to give him a black cat.
Yeah.
If he's going to be so pissed off anyway, give us Amazing 3 with a pissed off Peter. He can have air kind of like pulling the strings.
They deleted that scene too, didn't they? Where they, like, properly show off Felicia. Like, she was more of a background thing.
Yeah, she's like a secretary for a minute, isn't she, in the film?
But didn't was there a deleted scene where he catches the glass?
Yeah, because he talks to her for a little bit, and she's like, "Ooh, so that's Peter Parker."
I love how that was the only, like, franchise of Spidey to understand that he's meant to be, like, attractive when he's older.
Yeah, when he gets out of his, like, geeky phase.
One thing I can't stand about, like, Spider-Man 3, even Spider-Man 2, is Toby, he's Peter Parker, like, physique. It's so wimpy, and he's meant to be, like, an adult.
Yeah, like,
this is like the John Romita era of his Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's meant to be Spidey at, like, his peak, isn't it? But he's not, like, you wouldn't know he was Spidey looking at him. Which I suppose might be the point, but...
Oh, but, like, look at the animated...
He's never getting to... Oh, Christ, yeah. Toby's version would never be, like, he wouldn't have, like, the 5 different girls hanging off him. Like in, what was it, Amazing 40 or whatever, where he's got Liz, Gwen, Mary Jane, all of that maze begging for it.
But even, like, at least with Andrew, and even Tom, is you can tell that they're wearing the suit.
Yeah.
Toby feels like he's got a stunt double for every single time he's in the costume. Not to disrespect the GOAT.
Oh no, mate. We say it out of love.
But it's like Spider-Man 3, he looked borderline chubby. And you're telling me that when he's in the Spidey costume, he's like 90s animated series type buff.
Well, he's got one joke in the whole trilogy, doesn't he? Here's your change. And that's it.
One like the Sandman.
Spidey quip. Yeah.
I'm the sheriff around these parts.
Like, no one's mentioned Sheriff before. Like, Spidey's had that one saved and already loaded up for whatever villain he fights next. If someone had been like, you're not the police, he'd be like, ah. But no, it's just... You know, in the game, Sandman... Yeah, he does. But the Sandman never killed Uncle Ben in the game. Spidey just sees him on the wrong night.
Ooh, new black suit. I'm gonna go kill someone right away.
Literally, immediately. Like, they don't even mention Uncle Ben in the game.
But yeah, so, it's funny that both movie games sort of omitted shit like that, omitted that. TASM 2 just completely wrote out Gwen Stacy for whatever reason.
They just, like, created their own story for that. You can tell because Electro's in it for 2 seconds just because he had to be, because the fucking movie.
They had that forced dialogue between them, like, "Oh, I need you, man. You need
He
me."
had one interaction with him, and he's like, weird shocker as well. He just steals it again. What was Tassim's obsession with Oscorp? Lizard worked there, Electro worked there, Goblin owned it, and then in the game, Shocker gets his
Kingpin.
gauntlets from Oscorp. Kingpin's
Kingpin
trying
wanted
to buy
out.
Oscorp. Fucking all the cross species are from Oscorp.
But even like Harry didn't even get help from Kingpin, and if Kingpin refused to like fund any help or anything, he could go to the public and go, "Wilson Fisk is purposefully waiting for me to die so he can take over my company." It's so.
How come we didn't? You know, the Amazing Game, the first one.
Yeah.
Spidey literally fights Venom, but the movie had a lizard rat monster in it. That they didn't just make him Venom.
They had the rat thing eat the other rat, didn't they?
Yeah, Fred and Wilmer. So like, why
In
didn't
my
they just
head,
make?
as a kid, I literally thought that was meant to be like a reference. I saw like, oh, creepy rat eating other rat. That must be that creepy rat from the giant game.
That's what I mean. Like, you may as well if you've got him.
But those movies were the games and movies were so weirdly disconnected. Like, you get the sense that this Spidey basically got took down by cops, and then in the game he's fighting a gigantic robot snake that somehow fit within Oscorp.
Yeah, and like, no one ever mentions the damages this thing's just caused to the city.
Yeah,
like there'd be bits of New York sunken in the ground because of that thing.
It not only burst out of it, like it would have taken out so much of like the strong foundation work of Oscorp, which should have made it collapse.
Yeah, it would have crumbled.
It goes directly into the fucking ground, and it's massive too. Like it is incredibly wide, and I gotta be careful with what I say next. And the dimensions of it are so beneficial towards its nature, where it going into the ground would do so much damage. You'd think like there'd be massive fucking like, explosions,
Yeah, dude.
people dying.
There's a lot of cool spectacle, but not a lot of logic going on. Even the big, like, the first one, you fight the big spider-looking thing in the little park. That's like blasting lasers and shit, and
Yeah,
you
Spidey,
ride one through the city, fighting it like in the
almost
streets.
got killed by the lizard. Now he's battling all these gigantic robots.
And then the Black Cat was just weird as well. She was like a mental patient.
And this Peter's like in high school, isn't he?
Yeah, because he graduated in 2, doesn't he? Yeah, so he's still only like 15.
It's ultimate Spidey and Black Cat minus the vomiting on the dick. I love that. I love how like Bagley purposefully drew Peter to be like the most pimply, greasy teenage kid ever, just for that one
when he's
scene.
doing a smooch.
Yeah, just for that one panel. He's like, I'm gonna make him look as just nerdy as possible. The poor Black Cat. I love when he's like thinking about seeing her and that before that, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." She wants me. Gets
Picking
his
himself
cock
up, yeah.
vomited on. It's better than what we got now for Black Cat. What the fuck is she
What
doing?
we've got now in general is just
Black
got
Cat.
MCU shit coming out.
Black Cat got
what's
thrown
Black Cat
away.
doing now?
She got thrown away for no
Yeah,
reason.
like it's like just one panel. She goes like, "Oh, maybe we're not together." Peter goes, "Yeah, okay." So that's
Now she's back,
right.
sorta. And I'm guessing the cover of them two kissing is like a flashback meant to bait us to buy the issue.
Yeah, so he wouldn't do that to his one true love, Shay.
It's funny, you know what? This gets on my nerves so much. Shay was barely a character throughout her whole time in the book. You get Justina Ireland, who comes in for only two issues, and actually gives her some form of depth to her character. And that's it. Joe Kelly's writing the next series. Well, good job, Marvel.
There's never been a woman writer on Spidey for like a run, has there?
No, because Dan Slott probably hooked it for the...
Fair play. Well, it probably the office probably still smells of him, so they don't want to stick around. Like
all the women actually just get put off by it and they leave. Well, but there was one of the few like women writers for Spidey managed to write one of my most disliked Spidey stories ever.
ooh, or what?
It's Ann Nesenti. I can't stand most of her work. I thought the start of her Daredevil stuff was good, but then when Romita Jr. left, it was just horrible. But she did the Mad Ward story like before issue 300.
Oh yeah, where he's trapped with like he's in the mental asylum.
I couldn't stand that issue. Like that whole story, I didn't like it at all. I don't know if it was just too out there.
It was around Craven's Last Hunt time, that wasn't it?
I don't know if it felt like a waste of time because you're in the middle of Craven's Last Hunt and then you're about to get to Venom. It's like, why should I give a shit about him? He's not even Spider-Man for it.
I do remember that one being a bit...
I never liked it.
Like, what was the point?
But it's Ann Nesenti, and she's always hit or miss, but mostly miss. Like, I read X-Men Giant Size issue 1, which came out last year.
Yeah.
And they got that, like, the new Arcade, which is just like a black woman who goes by a different name, who was trained by Arcade. And she does, like, all these shit with, like, Angel. And he's about to arrest her at the end of it, and then she's like, but you learnt something about yourself. Do you want to deny this to the other X-Men or the other mutants? He goes like, huh. And that's how it ends.
Christ. Yeah, but you learned.
Chris Claremont X-Men.
Oh, God.
Disgraceful, mate.
But you
I've got a good question.
Oh, God.
It's a difficult one.
Oh.
What was your favorite moment? Story moment out of the entirety of Zeb Wells' run?
Let me think.
Was it when Peter said to Rhino, knock it off?
There's a brief moment towards the end of, I think, Spider-Goblin, where Kamala, Kurt Connors with Doctor Octopus arms, and I think Jonah Jameson are going to go and help Spider-Man fight the Green Goblin. And Kraven the Hunter comes in and goes, no, this is Spider-Man's battle. If you want him, you're going to get through me. And I was like, oh yeah, Kraven's going to fucking kill them. Yes! But then...
Kamala!
Then it cuts to Spider-Man and Goblin, cuts back, and off-screen, Kamala's already defeated Kraven.
What a coincidence!
So, there was a brief moment where I was like, oh, we might get Kraven doing something cool here. No. I shut my brain off for majority of this, dude. Like, I remember the key bits that pissed me off. Don't remember what happened in Gang War.
That was a waste of time. The entirety of Gang War was just such a waste.
It was nothing compared to that 80s masterpiece, Gang War.
Yeah. Well, who does he think he is? Just using the exact same name.
If I wrote a story called Craven's Last Hunt, and it was dog shit. What was your favourite Zeb Wells masterpiece?
Oh God, let me go in the archives. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember as well. Like,
that's how you know it's a bad run. Fuck.
Introduced Paul. Introduced fucking.
There was one story where I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I can't remember what fucking one it was. Oh no. It might have had Tombstone, but it wasn't like the most brutal fight in history. Not that fucking shit.
Oh, mate, where like that was so bullshit as well. It was literally three. That could have been one issue. It was a full fight with barely any dialogue, just stretched out.
I think it was the one which had a Paul backup story, but if we just count the main story, I think it was around issue 56 where Spidey like cracks his jaw. I didn't mind that one. I thought, okay, at least it's something. But like, there's nothing. Oh God, there really is nothing.
There's a bit in the run. Everyone's obviously pissed off at Peter, but Miles Morales, he's super pissed off because he says while Peter was out saving Mary Jane, he left all of New York to Miles to protect, as if Miles is the only. Not only is he not the only superhero, he's not even the only spider person. So what is he moaning at?
He lives in fucking New York with a Baxter Building and Avengers Tower. Why is he complaining?
He's complaining because Peter didn't let him know what he was doing. He was in a different universe, he clown. And like, I'll tell you what. Oh, that was during Nick Spencer, this one I'm about to complain about. But during the Nick Spencer stuff, during the Sin Eater Revenge or whatever it was, they have a scene where I think Madam Web has assembled the Spider People, and you've got Gwen, Anya, and Miles. But in the concept art of it, Miles was Ben Reilly dressed as Scarlet Spider.
Oh.
So they at the last minute swapped out Ben and brought in Miles, which this was during the time when Ben was indeed a hero again as well. So we've not had an actual like Parker Brothers moment in years. Kane is currently a hero. I think he's currently in New York as well, chasing down Chasm. Why isn't he like teaming up with Peter more?
Well, I guess. Oh, okay. Wait. I think I might have one. It's not even a full story. It is a moment. That's all I can think of. It's before he brought him back to ruin Ben Reilly. It was the end of like Chasm potentially. I like that part because it's like, oh, okay, there's hope. Until he killed it. So.
Of course.
What about when in Gang War when Kingpin said like the grown-ups are talking and he fucking throws Spidey into the Hellfire gang club.
Ridiculous, make the right Spidey to be a little bitch.
It's like, but this is the Kingpin. Do we need to go back to Back in Black?
Oh yeah, where he dominated him, dude.
Like, surely even with the One More Day and the whole thing that happened there, surely he'd like remember Spidey. Maybe his face would be blurred in his memory. But like Spidey going up to him and bashing the shit out of him. There's no way he'd forget that part.
No, and he'd remember the threat of web down his throat. So like, even if he doesn't remember the face behind the mask, he'd still know that was Spider-Man.
But can we we need to go back to putting proper respect on Spidey's name because people like the Kingpin, Tombstone, fucking who else did he find in this shit? Vulture. They should not be causing him this much trouble when he's like in his prime still, technically.
It's everyone, whether it's villains or supporting characters. Whenever Peter or Spider-Man says anything, they just go, oh.
Then Nick Lowe jerks himself off and he goes, this is relatable. This is relatable, guys. Yeah,
because everyone sighs and rolls their eyes whenever he says some dumb bullshit. He thinks that's how everyone acts. What about when Rabin, the current top contender for ruining Spidey's life more than any Goblin ever did? Did you ever read that Brand New Day story with him?
Yeah, but it's like an instant forgettable thing. Like it's there. It's noted down as I've read it, but I can't tell anything about it.
Well, the whole thing is, he's a one-off villain from 20 years ago.
That's what I was gonna say. All I remember was we fucking pulled out the most obscure throwaway cunt. Can I say that?
Yeah, I'll let you. Cunt.
In like one of Spidey's villains' history. And then, yeah, okay, bring him back. Paul, thanks, guys.
Simply because I think Zeb Wells created him. So if this ever gets adapted in a cartoon, there was a blizzard. It had Michelle Gonzalez's brother in it.
Oh my god. That fucking
So this is
snowman.
like if Gaunt murdered Aunt May.
Peter goes
some
up.
no name.
Thank you.
What? Jeez. Don't get up, mate. You're only pretending. You get the most obscure, like, no one cares supervillain and make him ruin Spider-Man's life to such a degree.
I want the death of Black Cat, but the cat kills her. Like a proper, like, you know, that's a proper throwback.
I'm trying to think of, like, a Batman equivalent where some one-off, the Yeti,
Ten-eyed man,
murders what's his name? The Armadillo just murders Catwoman in front of Bruce, and suddenly he's gone. But what the hell was his plan? He was like, he wanted to just cause genocide through math, and he made fake children to piss off to convince Mary Jane to break up with. I don't even know what happened.
Is this just like Zeb Wells and Nick Lowe saying that they hate math? Like, were they just both shit at math? And they're like, okay, I'm going to make a whole storyline about someone wanting to commit genocide.
Math destroys the planet.
Oh, God.
Imagine if... Let me put this
being a kid? Growing up
and this being your Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fuck no, dude. Imagine if... Where's the dude's name? Was it Kragov? Hang on. Deep within the government... Whatever. There we go. So, General Nikolai Kurtzov from Marvel Team Up Annual 2, who builds a atomic bomb through Sissy Ironwood's dad's knowledge of bombs, and then dies at the end. Imagine if Kurtzov come back and just ruins Spider-Man's life. There's no name. It's so mad because Spidey's got like some of the coolest villains in comics. I would have preferred like Electro to do this shit because at least he's got history with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This is like stabbing a stranger on a train. You don't know him. You don't know who he is or what he's done. You've just done it to be a dick.
Rabin is also one of the most anti-Spider-Man foes you could ever think of.
Yeah,
it feels
like
fun
he's
for
a
him.
Thor villain.
There's no way he's Spider-Man's foe. And the fact that he is Spider-Man's foe makes no sense. Go back to Morlun, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, mate. Spider-Man villains, to me, is like science experiment gone wrong. That's the key ingredient. And this Raven fella being like an extra-dimensional fucking demon cultist, whatever. It's very stupid.
It's just...
I thought the same about Morlun, and I still do. But at least Morlun had one good story, his first one, and he died at the end of it. So that would...
You know what else he did? He should have been a one and done.
He should have. And they brought back Shathra. Remember it?
Oh, the one that when
the spider
MJ
wasp monster.
And he's like, is this true?
Yeah. Like, they brought her back for, like, End of Spider-Verse, which I didn't read, because why the hell would I? But she'd also been back before, because she'd tricked Kane into sleeping with her to give birth to Spider-Man baby.
Such a weird concept.
But yeah, Raven is bottom of my list. I think the Chameleon beats him in coolness.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, at least he can turn into whoever the fuck he wants to. And like, I love that just that one issue where Spidey traumatizes him.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Were you online when like the start of Zeb Wells happened? Because I wasn't really... I think I was making videos, but I wasn't doing like this sort of stuff.
I don't think so, no.
I'm trying to remember. I want to know what the general immediate reaction was. Like when issue 1 released, I wasn't like checking Twitter or checking YouTube for this sort of shit.
Ooh.
So I wonder what like the immediate sort of fan reaction, because I just saw it and thought, great, fuck my life.
I kind of remember it being like, because we just had Spencer's run end with him about to propose. And then I think people were more annoyed that was getting put on pause. Little did they know it was actually getting killed. Because he's never going to do it now.
That shit for 26 issues. Or 25, technically. But, like, the what did Peter do thing lasted so long. And in
then it
between,
wasn't even anything cool.
We had classic stories like Joe Kelly saying that Peter loves MJ like his sister. Wow. You've done it again.
Very weird.
Joe. Now he's writing
give this man the spider box. Absolute sicko.
Justina Island, ew. Actual writing, ew. Incest, yeah. You got
what
the
do you
job,
reckon?
Kelly.
Get in there. Didn't he do non-stop Spider-Man as well? That was shit.
Because it was a book made for kids.
Yeah, it had zero Peter Parker because it was literally non-stop Spider-Man. Like, it only took his mask off.
That was like when Marvel realized, shit, the new generation has like zero attention span. We need a book that can somehow keep their attention while not being a device.
It's the TikTok of comic books, dude. What do you reckon of the current then? Currently, as of right this instant, Spider-Man's halfway through fighting other demon gods. But it makes a bit more sense. They haven't just randomly stepped into his life.
But going back to Joe Kelly, I have no hope. I'm going back to being a pessimist.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be grim for the future. Absolutely.
But even like, if he doesn't even get with that hot demon lady, then what's the point? That's
exactly, dude.
That is single Spider-Man. Like when he's single, he would do that.
He's already made a fool of a brother in front of her, so she should be like, ooh.
What do you think? How do you feel going into issue 65? Is it out now? It should be out soon.
The preview was, but the preview is basically just the girl going, now you'll face me. And going, oh. But
God. I hate my life.
It's clear to me that this whole run is just to make us forget about that shit show we've just had.
It's like putting everything on pause.
It's so out there. Like, there's not been a Spider-Man run before like this, where he's now a magical champion, because it's designed to make you think. It's like a clean slate in it. But also, they're distracting you with something shiny, basically. Because his new suit is literally shiny.
Where was, what's his face? Juggernaut in 64? He was in the end of 63.
Like playing video games with the X-Men or something, wasn't he?
And he's like, I have to go. And then that's it.
I do know from solicitations.
It's like an
alarm.
I know from
he's like, I gotta refresh.
Charles, your parents.
I know he's coming. He's gonna do something important, but why?
Did you see the preview? I don't know if it was a preview like for the cover or page, but I think Spider-Man gets the fucking gem, the Sidorak gem.
If like you want some spoilers,
they show Spider-Man Juggernaut.
Yeah, the solicitations say he becomes the Spider Juggernaut because he apparently dies for good at some point, but obviously not. Although at this point it would be a mercy if they just let him die.
It actually, it might make the story worth reading.
I don't even care now. Give Miles a 10. I don't care. I'm not reading anything past 2005 anyway.
The thing is, if you retire Peter like they did back in the 90s, he'd live in, I forget where it was, with MJ. Was it in New Orleans? Where the fuck did they move to?
They did move somewhere weird, didn't they? I think it was...
Ooh.
I don't remember exactly. American cities,
But so, like, that's how it end in the 90s. But then if you end his story now, it'd be like, no, he's just dead. He's just
back in the day, they're like, that's the end for Peter. He lost his powers, but he's got his love of his life, and he did a good job. Now someone else can continue the fight.
but he's happy. And that's all.
That's
that
all we
matters.
wanted. But now, yeah, the only way to end it now is either dies or no. That's it, really. That's the only route they
Yeah.
can take.
Jeez, thrilling stuff, guys. You're really breaking the mold.
This is a multi-billion company, and we can't even blame Disney because it's been shit for long before Disney. Now the movies we can blame Disney. Disney,
Oh, mate,
stop it.
I can't wait to not watch Tom Holland's movies and the re-showings in cinemas.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
The defenders
What
for
is the
those
point?
movies go like, well, it's because it's like a new movie and like people saw it more recently. It's like, no, it's just fucking shit.
It's because it's dog shit.
Yeah, it's not because it's recent. It's shit. Also, Homecoming's also 10 years old. What are you talking about recent?
Christ. Also, the jump between Homecoming and you can't just watch them back to back because Homecoming ends with them being like friends with Iron Man. And Far From Home opens up and Iron Man's dead. You're like, why did they kill him off screen?
Yeah. People who had no clue, just no Spidey, be like, what the fuck?
If
Oh,
it
they
wasn't
wasted
for,
Robert Downey Jr.
if it wasn't for the other two Spider-Men turning up in No Way Home, it would not have reviewed nearly as well. The whole beginner bit's so boring. Like, even with Willem Dafoe, who always makes it a masterpiece, it's like the whole start's just, who cares?
The first third of that movie's boring. There's nothing interesting about it. It's just like a stale film until when William Dafoe starts losing his shit. That's when it gets a bit more interesting.
Yeah, when a spider sense goes off and they're already in the apartment, that's
kicks up to gear randomly. Like
Why were they so afraid to play like? Go ahead.
He goes from like no style, then as soon as the spider sense hits, it's like just full of incredible scenes. Like what happened?
That entire sequence of getting the shit beat out of him in the building and like going down to the down floor, Goblin versus Spider-Man. That bit's boss.
I love when he's like punching his face and then he just starts taking it and he's like laughing.
Yeah, starts pissed himself. He loves it, dude.
Still,
but if not for the old actors,
broken.
But even like it was so lazily done. Like the scene where they cure Sandman is literally a reverse.
I think that was
of the scene where Sandman touches water because of coronavirus or some shit.
Yeah, I think it was like that or
lame
like pre-commitments or some shit. But
Mate,
him and the lizard.
It's only your fucking job. Get in there. The lizard just gets written out. You know, I'm gonna stay in the van. We haven't got the budget and the CGI.
Yeah,
so the lizard
he comes
roaming
back and they
apartment.
reuse the end of TASM 1.
Yeah.
The only thing I could say is like it's
lazy.
good editing at least though, because like how do they remove all that fucking the cure dust thing?
Do you remember the trailer that come out where, because they didn't want to spoil that they had the other two Spider-Man in it? Tom Holland, they're the Statue of Liberty, and Tom Holland Spidey jumps down at the villains, and you see the lizard's neck like go, whoa, even though no one touched him.
That was embarrassing.
It's clearly edited out
Andrew Garfield going, "I'm not the werewolf."
Yeah.
I love though when I think he got like Uber or something or DoorDash, and because he was in LA, I think, or wherever they were filming. He realized, like, shit, I can't show my face. And so he was, like, trying to be discreet about it. And then the guy tweeted afterwards saying, like, I just delivered food to Andrew Garfield's door. He was, like, really fucking mean. And then Andrew Garfield was, like, sobbing over it.
Oh, no.
He's like, oh, I wasn't being mean. I was just trying not to spoil the movie.
I'm under contract.
Yeah. Sony Disney will literally shoot me and my entire family. Oh, that was so... Oh, the hype for that was crazy, though. Leading up to No Way Home, the release. What an experience.
The trailer where like it just shows the pumpkin bomb rolling onto the bridge and you're like, oh my god, that's the Raimi pumpkin bomb.
The fucking... That one scene, though, where he just randomly says, you know, I'm something of a
Oh.
scientist myself. It made no sense.
Despise it. I despise
so
it. It's
fucking random.
That's my problem with the whole movie. They're just like, remember this? Like, we don't want cameos of characters we like. We'd rather have them characters doing new stuff.
I couldn't
Absolute.
believe that Toby never interacted with William Dafoe, and they deleted a scene where they were fighting. Why would you do? So you have time. You have time to have Ned and MJ somehow get onto the Statue of Liberty and somehow play a major role within that final fight, but we don't have time for fucking Toby versus William.
Stupid, dude. Because that was literally the rivalry, mate. Because that's what I mean. It was all just pure fan service. They were trying to be like, look, it's this character, it's this character. But yeah, they're doing the same shit we've already seen them do. Like I said to you the other day, in that Flash movie, all of Batman 89's like dialogue lines are references to stuff he's already done. Like when he asks how much Flash weighs, like he did to Vicky Vale, he literally says, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." It's like, okay, we've seen the other movies. Do something new, please. We want these characters back, not just. I should have just watched Batman 89 again. You know what? I think
that's why. That's why, like, if you don't watch No Way Home in a theater, it feels so weird because
it loses its impact in it.
It works only in a theater environment because even when Andrew goes through the portal, and he does that whole like sitcom pause for the crowd to like clap.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he looks around, you know. I'm Spider-Man. It's like, fuck, just that's not how a human acts. And then when you watch it like, in your house, you just sit there awkwardly, like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, like, oh, it's Andrew. Yeah. Have you seen when people edit out the laughter from sitcoms, like Friends and that, and they do just sit there staring at each other? It is basically that's so Toby comes in and like he whispers something, but it doesn't matter if you heard them anyway because of the clapping.
It's like even Toby, he looks so funny in the suit.
Or even when he's like, "Oh yeah, I had back problems," and he winks at the camera.
Then Andrew starts humping his back. Did Dan Slott write this one?
Ooh.
He comes in for that one scene. It's like, even when Zeb Wells had a writing credit in Deadpool, is it any coincidence that his wife found someone else?
It was his writing credit, the scene where Vanessa pegs Wade.
The third one, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It'd just be like in the credits, Zeb Wells pegging scene. And that's it. You actually could see Zeb Wells' reflection behind like the mirrors. How did you go from doing Robot Chicken, a robot, to this shit?
Must have hit his head at some point.
Because that's funny. Robot Chicken's funny.
The actual current state of like Marvel in general is just a bit dog shit, be it movies, games. I've not played this Marvel rival, so I can't speak to that. But Spider-Man game was shit. All the movies have been shit for a while. Ant-Man 1 and 2 were fun, like heist, like it was a nice change of pace, and then 3 was just another big CGI, whatever. They got Robert Downey Jr. coming in as Doctor Doom for some reason.
But even like Iron Man 1 and 2 had a certain vibe to them that matched both movies. Like it felt like a cool, like, yeah, fucking Iron Man music, like rock music blasting. And
yeah, personality.
What happened to Tony liking, like, even just having that sort of rock theme to him? Like, no AC/DC was played anymore. One of the coolest things as a kid was that Iron Man and War Machine fucking fight scene.
Yeah, mate. Like, even you can say what you want about the whole movie, but that end bit in like the Chinese garden where they're just shredding. That's sick. That's what we want.
It's like, why don't they feel like comic book movies anymore?
all the characters are the same. Everyone's the same, like, quirky, dorky protagonist. Whether it's Shang-Chi or Kamala Khan, they're all just...
But even, like, you either like or hate the Incredible Hulk movie. But I actually like it. I like the movie. And there's some scenes which I think are great. Like when he takes Betty away to the mountains as the Hulk. Yeah. And then it's pouring rain. And then fucking lightning strikes. And he gets scared. But then he just starts roaring at the lightning and like throws a rock.
Yeah.
It's like we don't even get that anymore. Where's the Hulk's personality, mate? Oh my god.
Nowadays, dude, you throw the rock and someone would go, oh, that just happened.
The lightning is right behind me, isn't it? At least with James Gunn, like, have you seen Creature Commandos?
Not yet, but I've been meaning to, just for Dr. Phosphorus.
Like, it's fun, and it's comic book. Like, it's comic booky, I guess. Dr. Phosphorus is one of the best things about that whole show. Like, I think in, like, episode 2, minor pervert spoilers. Flag Senior's, like, shagging the princess.
Yeah.
And the guard wants, like, you know, the princess, like, come on, we need to go. And then Dr. Phosphorus is, like, blocking the door. And he's like, give him a minute. And he's just staring blankly into his face. And I'm pretty sure he says something like, you can't tell if I'm smiling. And you just hear it in the background, and, like, Dr. Phosphorus is just blankly looking at the guard. He's the best, mate. Have you seen the fucking clip where there's like a tank coming after him?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he flips them off.
Yes, bends through them, dude. That's what we like. We need more fun stuff like that. Everything's got to be depressing or literal made for 5-year-olds.
It's so good. I mean,
there's a middle ground, though. There is a middle ground, like, that's funny, like, the bending through the faces and shit. But then, on the other end, you got, like, the boys where they're using, like, superpowers to just rape each other and shit. And there's...
Even the show was
There
weird,
is a line.
Because, like, in the show, you had that weird Nazi woman who got horribly burnt. But then she starts, like, jerking off Homelander. What the fuck are we doing?
It's like Creature Commandos. I've not seen it, but from what I've seen and heard, it's like, yeah, it's got swears and it's got gore and violence and that. But it seems to be still written by an adult. While shit like The Boys and all this Garth Ennis stuff, it's like the edgy 14-year-old who gets bullied in schools being like...
It's just...
Like they took from his notebook.
It's also annoying because with James Gunn projects, especially now, if you see any criticisms, you just know that you can't really trust it. They're most likely just a crazy Snyder fan.
Yeah.
I've never seen a group of people try to dismiss someone's work as badly as Snyder fans have for James Gunn. Like they can't stand him. What's all the hype about? Like, I don't know,
because all the Snyder shit was shit.
I watched like the Justice League was alright, but it's like
I shouldn't be falling asleep in a movie about Batman fighting Superman.
It's 4 hours for Justice League.
Fucking hell! I think I got halfway through Justice League. Like Superman hadn't even been resurrected yet, and I packed it in because I was like, "This is just too slow."
Even having like your Batman be that old is such a weird choice for me.
At the start of a cinematic universe,
yeah,
definitely.
He's like the Dark Knight Returns sort of Batman. It's like, why? Yeah. There's a difference between he's established and he's old. There's a clear line of a difference there.
Yeah. Because the second like Hush turns up, this Batman's gonna break his back.
How is Alfred still like kicking properly as well? If he's meant to be this more... How did Robin die but Alfred isn't? Did he like sell... Did he sell his sidekick to their equivalent of Mephisto?
If Bruce Wayne's this old, how is it Alfred even older?
It's shocking. What do you hope for the new volume of Spidey? What do you think's gonna happen in that shit? Because have you seen the like blurb?
Oh, I have, but I don't remember it. The one that come
It's
with
like
there's a what's you call? There's a big group shot of Spidey like running
Yeah.
away from all his villains, which doesn't
But the
bode well at
blurb
first.
is like he's jobless, broke, something like that, and he's got all these villains to fight. And
Gonna
like
be more brand new day shit in it.
wow,
No respect for him.
We've gone
Just gonna
back
get
to
his
him
fucking-
being jobless.
You are bang on correct when you say about the cycle, because we're now jobless, running from supervillains, which isn't really a very Spider-Man thing to do, is it? What if Rhino steps on someone, dude? But Joe Kelly was a brand new day writer. I think he might have done American Son, actually. But he was definitely part of like the Brain Trust, as they called them, which I think they called it that because between all like 7 of them, they barely had one working brain.
Joe Kelly definitely was a part of it. I feel like that's why he got the job over Ireland.
Because he's like got experience, got tenure.
He's got like that shitty experience though, like like
Yeah, it's absolute myth.
you know, you worked on our shitty story, so you're getting rewarded.
Well, Marvel seems to love One More Day, don't they? They keep like injecting aspects of it into shit, like that 2017 cartoon, which was just a Dan Slott run down to Horizon Labs. The game having Mr. Negative in a huge role, even though he's a bit shit as well.
How did we get for like cartoons a more like faithful adaptation of Dan Slott's dog shit run than Ultimate Spider-Man? How does that work? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I know, dude. Like, they could have done anything else and it would have been better. They could have went back to do the Ditko issues. They could have done Bendis' Ultimate properly. Dan Slott must just give like really good sexual favors.
But even like say Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the new cartoon.
Oh Christ!
How have we gone back to like a wimpy kid? The Ditko era wasn't wimpy. He had like such a big attitude, man. Like, did they read any of this? Ditko Peter is one of the biggest assholes you'll ever find. In like Avengers issue 2, I'm pretty sure Iron Man's like, "Hey, we need help finding Hulk," and he's like, "Piss off! I got my own problem."
Even in like Spider-Man issue, I think it might even be 4. He punches out Flash Thompson for talking shit.
Yeah.
So where's the edge? And now this net on the trailer where it's like Parker out,
where they have
they have a little boxing match.
Yeah, and then the cover's like him fucking smacking his jaw.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, what you said with the when he's trying to be like hip, and cool. Yeah,
does Parker, not match him at all, dude. He's raised by his nan and granddad, for Christ's sake.
But even like Aunt May looks like Marisa Tomei. There's some parallels to the MCU, but it's not linked to the MCU. It's like, what's the point?
It's just
what a waste of resources.
I've seen better like fan animations on YouTube than this weird. It looks worse than the 2004 new animated series.
Yeah, I mean,
this weird 2.5D perspective.
It looks choppy. Like, it looks really messy. But not even, like, in an artistic way. More like, these guys don't know how to fucking animate. Oh, mate, it's... Like, even... I find Lego stop-motion series more enthralling to watch than this shit.
Mate, that fella who's done, like...
That
bloke who's... Yeah, they were sick. There's a fella who's got, like, all his action figures and he's remade the PS1 video game. That's the best Spider-Man movie to me.
He's done Enter Electro too now, I think.
Yeah. But, like, he's added in bits from Unlimited to like give backstory on who Eddie Brock was and everything.
It's sad when the fans just seem to like care way more all the time. The people who make it.
Crop Motion Animation was his name. Bloody hell. But yeah.
Panel Power shout out.
If the people who actually make these stories gave half as much of a shit as the fans, and they weren't just trying to sell a product, if they had a bit of passion, that's the problem with the world in general, I think. No one's asked anymore. But we need to get out there and show them the fruits of labour.
Well, like, even people now feel too afraid to even say what they like.
I know what you mean. Like, every movie nowadays, no one wants to show any passion because they think they'll get laughed at for it.
But yeah, that's what I mean, because someone's going to say you're yapping or
they love it ironically. It's like, well, if you like it, you like it. That's it, mate. What's your hottest take? Yeah. What's your hottest take on Spider-Man then?
In general, or like Zeb Wells?
Yeah. In general, dude.
Oh, God.
I think we've given Zeb Wells enough of our time now.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I thought a lot of, like, there's a period of the Bronze Age I thought was just really bad, and I didn't like it all.
Ooh.
It's before Hobgoblin, and it's post, like, 200. So I feel like a large majority of that sort of era was overrated. Because when you get into, like, Hobgoblin, it's just peak. It's so good.
Oh, man, yeah. There's no stopping.
But then, like, before that, we had such a weird period. Like, Submariner was in a couple of the issues. And the Frightful Four or some shit. Yeah, it's like, why would I care? He's the biggest douche in Marvel.
Oh, yeah, dude. Submariner, like, I was reading an issue the other day. He just turned up on Deborah Whitman's uncle's boat just to start shit. Just because he was bored.
Oh, does that count as a hot take? I don't know because I said it was like that small
hot take, if it counts. Everyone's always putting like the 90s as being the worst. But if I'm honest, going back and reading all the clone stuff, if you can read it back to back, it's alright, it's fine. I'd rather read that than what we got nowadays. No, I think mine, I did have one then. What was it? I just think in general, everyone likes pointing at the Clone Saga and going, that was shit. But I suppose if you were waiting month to month for like nothing to really progress, it would seem it. We've got the benefit of flying through.
The $1.50 each release.
Yeah. I think mine would be, it's kind of a cheeky one. Other than Spider-Man and Daredevil, I just don't fucking care about Marvel characters anymore. Like,
yeah, I get
all the current shit they're doing is garbage.
That's it. And I feel like DC's capitalizing on that. Like they're like all in. They got that DC all in branding now, and it's just way cool. Like even the branding alone is cool. Than whatever the fuck Marvel's publishing.
Everything in Marvel seems like it's tailor-made now to mug off old fans. Like, no one's who they wear. All the costumes are like MCU tactical shit. You buy a book called Captain America and Steve Rogers isn't actually in it.
It's sad because Straczynski's writing Captain America, and even that is like painfully average. That's how you know that no one in Marvel really gives a shit.
Yeah, they know that like they've got the name Marvel on them, so they think they can put out any old shit.
So like a panel pal's hot take would be that DC right now is like infinitely better than Marvel.
Yeah.
The only thing they got over them is probably the games, like with Marvel Rivals out right now.
But even then, is that the only game? This Wolverine one seems to be taking ages to come out.
I don't trust anything by Insomniac anymore.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2's not had any DLC, even though it came out like 2 years ago. And the
Marvel
story
Rivals
that was
getting
shit
the
as well.
Fantastic Four in it now.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to play as like Johnny. I was saying to my mate, I was on a call with him. I was just yapping about like Fantastic Four, and like them if they're in the game. I was like, oh, for Johnny, you could have him do like a supernova as his like ultimate move, and then I saw the supernova as the ult. And I was like, fuck yeah!
Oh, nice. You know what I
Imagine there's
find
like
weird,
a
like,
like a college there, supernova.
oh,
It'd be like that whole deal in the 80s or 90s again.
I reckon other than Spider-Man, Marvel have just shut the bed with everyone. While over
But
at
even like in the
DC,
comics though, they fucked it.
or even with Spider, yeah, like as I'm always saying this, I don't like reading moderns. Ultimate's actually quite good. I'll give them that. So we know they can still make some form of good Spider-Man when they want to. It's just the problem is they don't want to.
It is weird though, like how that is, well, like Ultimate Spider-Man's there, but it's the only quality series. It just feels
They're
so
like,
like it feels like a fluke.
they're like in a contest against themselves, aren't they, for some reason?
But even
Every time Ultimate comes out, it decimates amazing.
yeah, I'm sure that pisses off Nick Lowe a little bit. Even if his name's attached to like editor of Ultimate Spider-Man, there's no way that doesn't fucking like grind his gears. It's just weird that like back in the day, to rejuvenize the character, we had to make him a teenager, but then now it's make him a married man.
Yeah, dude.
What a weird circle. But I think what time are we going on? 2 hours? Wow.
Yeah, we smashed it. Oh.
Jeez.
Is there anything
Well,
you're looking forward to regarding Spider-Man in general, games or movies or comics?
well, I'm hoping for Ultimate Spider-Man to have like a really good, more action-packed year.
Yeah.
I feel like the more talkative character building worked for 2024, and I'm hoping for 2025 we at least get a bit of a balance to it.
Yeah, like we know who everyone is now. We can jump right in.
Yeah, and hopefully it is. What about you? What are you looking forward to? Anything in the Spider Mania?
No. No, yeah, just Ultimate again, I think. I'm going to continue reading me 70s and 80s comics. I'm going to ignore whatever Joe Kelly does and have a good time.
What about final question? Which Sinister Six member are you most excited to see him fight in Ultimate Spider-Man? The Mole Man?
I want to know Mysterio's gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, is it just he's just some weird like illusionist, or maybe he's got actual magic? Oh, I've got a final question for you, dude. If you could write a single story for Spider-Man, what would it be? What would you do? Just a one-off. It doesn't have to be like a big 50-issue epic.
Well, the thing is, I had a multi-part story in my drafts, like in a folder somewhere.
Oh,
It's in my room somewhere.
yeah.
But I named it "Till Death Do Us Part."
Oh,
And for the cover I drew, I took that one splash page from Mark Bagley where he goes into his house in Forest Hills, and it was like pouring rain. He's just standing in the darkness, and you can just see like the window. His mask is dripping from the rain. And
yeah.
I took that panel. I was just trying to draw it as best as I could. So I have like a
Sick.
story planned out called "Till Death Do Us Part," where it's, as you could probably guess, the revival of The Greatest Marriage.
Oh, that's a boss name for that, actually, dude.
So I was like trying to think of it. I was like, "Till Death Do Us Part."
That's sick.
Watch Marvel take that now and then just throw it in my face.
It's gonna be about
Paul.
Aunt May marrying the gangster.
Yeah, and the double
Silver
marriage
Fist.
of them, and Paul and MJ tie the knot. What would you write if you had a chance to bless the books?
Well, I'd like a little short, like, I'd rather be, like Zdarsky, I'd rather be on, like, the Spectacular than the main book, because you get done by editorial.
Oh, yeah, more freedom.
Perhaps, you know how Spider-Man's been chosen by Doctor Doom now to be, like, the magic whatever?
Yeah.
What if there was a story where Mysterio gets, like, some demon or something thinks he's actually magic, and he has to, like, stand in for Doctor Strange for, like, a week, fending off Dormammu using just illusions and shit. He's gotta bullshit his way through it.
But, like, does he actually have the powers, or is he just, like, freaking out all the time?
He's joking. He keeps, like, making up spells, and all the like Silver Dagger or whatever Doctor Strange villain, like, I've never heard of that spell, and he's like, oh, you wouldn't, it's only for a master. And it's like, he's got to absolutely lie and cheat his way through Doctor Strange's rogue gallery.
It was only fitting, mate. The great Mysterio.
Oh yeah, he's been busy.
Oh, we already had the other plans in our messages for stories, like the Sinister Hangout.
Yeah, dude. The Sinister Sleepover. They're just chilling.
No, I want to watch Godzilla from 1992.
Yeah, you would, Mysterio. He doesn't shut up the whole film as well. Doesn't shut up. He's like, you know, they did that. It's puppets.
They're watching Superman 78. Like, you know, it's actually a miniature scale. That's just
watching Star Wars, and, like, yeah, the ship's going by. It's like, I can see the string. That never would have happened if I'd have got that job. What I think would be an interesting thing. Okay.
Doc Ock puts on, like, a Clockwork Orange or some shit like that.
Puts on Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's how I'd have done it.
I would do this, but with a cocaine bomb. Like, everyone allergic to cocaine.
What I think Marvel should do, you know, like all these, it's funny to me, all these alternate universes, and yet every Peter Parker has a Norman Osborn and all that shit. They should take a hero, make a new universe, but give him someone else's villains. Like, how would Spider-Man fight, like, Sabretooth and all that shit if they were his enemies instead?
The Mole Man's in this, in the Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's what inspired that, mate. I was like, why Mole Man? I know there's no Fantastic Four.
And there's no She-Hulk. So that's like, I feel like that's his two main sort of... And there's no Daredevil, because he was in the Wade run.
True.
You'd think he'd fight Daredevil more. They're both fucking blind.
Keep up into each other at, like, the support group. Mole Man's like one of them mega powerful ones, and it's got like an army of moloids and shit.
Yeah. Like when MJ's sharing her stories, one of the moloids just starts fucking talking about Mole Man and his abusiveness when he gets, like, really angry. Oh my god.
Fantastic. Spectacular.
Amazing.
Ooh. Right, so what we got on the docket? The new animated series, Edge of Time.
And okay,
a true 2099 adventure.
Final question.
Ooh, yeah.
What do you have planned for the channel? Your channel? If it's still, if we're still kicking.
If we're not been sued into oblivion. I currently have set up until. Let me have a look. The 21st of February, I'm all set until weekly. But by the time this comes out, which should be about what? Oh, mate, the Gladiator. You know, Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
The Daredevil villain. Oh, he's sick. Daredevil's Bane. He's coming, dude.
He was, like, the only proper villain where Daredevil, like, managed to fix him.
Yeah, he had a good ending. Blows my mind. Daredevil cries himself to sleep, but the Gladiator's, like, living the life.
All his costumes.
There's an issue that I cover in it where he's with Spider-Man, and it ends with them being friends, and I don't think they've ever spoke since.
It's weird because I know Bendis also retconned some of it.
Oh yeah, they always go back to villainy, don't they? Even if they have like a quality ending.
He like retconned their first meeting, I think. With, like, the
Spidey's one
White
with him.
Tiger, Daredevil, and Spidey. He made it so they met. Or the White Tiger met Daredevil when he was in the yellow suit, I think. Oh no, the Gladiator.
yeah.
Sorry, I think the Gladiator. He met him during the yellow suit era, which never happened.
So Bendis isn't just happy ruining modern day comics. He's got to go back.
Such a weird change. But that's
So pointless, isn't it?
It's not a Bendis story if he doesn't do like one. Just like, what the fuck were you
If
thinking?
it doesn't annoy us in some way. Well, apparently that sells comics, doesn't it?
Even when I was watching the Daredevil Creating a Man Without Fear documentary, Bendis was saying something about like a superhero's identity being leaked as like a rare event. He's like, I wanted to see how this would transpire in the world. Like, in the same volume that you wrote in, Daredevil had his identity leaked. And he completely ignored it. He's lucky it's one of the best Daredevil runs ever. Because, like, what the fuck was he thinking?
He couldn't even keep his own. He was contained in Ultimate Spider-Man, and he couldn't even keep that, like, consistent. Apparently there's 2 Eddie Brocks, but Google says there's 1. He does find out who Matt Murdock is. But Peter does find out Matt Murdock's name, but then when Daredevil dies in Ultimatum, Peter goes, I never even learned his name. Like, yeah, you did, because he turned up at your school to recruit you as Peter Parker. Remember that? Would you not? If you were a writer for comics, would you not write down like key plot points somewhere just so you don't make a fool of yourself?
The real question is, did Marty's parents in Back to the Future not think something was up when their child looks exactly like that one Marty that helped them get together?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. He's like, so go on. Isn't that in Family Guy? Yeah, he goes like, so how is he? How's who? You know, the guy who looks exactly like our teenage son. Defo, dude.
It's
but then,
so stupid. That's
was
like the
Biff
one
just
flaw.
gonna rape Lorraine?
Like,
you guys keep watch.
When I watched the movie with my dad, I'm like, okay, so Biff is on for assault, on for sexual assault, on for attempted murder, on for harassment, probably on for defamation at this point.
Oh, well, did he use Marty's logo?
He used his name. No, Marty used Calvin Klein's name. Can he do that?
My favourite bit, dude. Back to the Future 2, he's watching Biff like on the street. And the little kid kicks his ball towards Biff and he goes, oh, you want the ball? Throws it on a roof. Go get it. That is Electro himself, dude.
Or even when, in the first one, when George is getting bullied in school when Marty rolls it the first time. Okay, very funny, guys. Ha ha ha. And he gets kicked in the ass. And then, like, Doc goes up to Marty and says, maybe you were adopted.
I love how by the third one they've swapped catchphrases. Like Marty goes, great Scott, and Doc goes, yeah, this is heavy.
Like, we should say fucking and do a whole episode on Back to the Future.
Dude, there is Back to the Future comic books. We could
and the game.
It'll count as panels. And the game's the Telltale game, dude.
I used to be obsessed with that. I used to count that as like the Lost like movie.
Florida's got a theme park ride, dude. It's one of them 4D like adventures where Biff steals the time machine and you gotta chase him. But he goes back to like the dying day of the dinosaurs. You race them through a volcano and you're like, I don't remember this in the movie.
Oh, it's so weird in the game too, how it's like there's that whole thing we have to hand the subpoena in as well. And then there's
life imitates that.
I don't mind the whole like young Emmett route they went with that. Because like where do you go for a game at this point?
Yeah, true.
And then they had that weird like dystopian future or the present where Doc married that one woman. And it was almost like a dictatorship within the within the whole town.
Yeah.
Oh, that game is
Hardcore,
so
dude.
nostalgia. And I
He
think
did
it's
it
like,
on the Wii.
but like the shitty graphics make it seem so unnervy when you play it. Like there's a scene where I think her name was Edna, the girl that when Doc marries her, everything goes to shit. I think there's like you go to like one present where they never got married, and she's just depressed, and it's like in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it because of the graphics and the time of the game, it's the most unsettling thing you can ever just play through for some reason. Oh god, what flashbacks!
Mental, dude.
But I think that concludes another fabulous, sensational, even superior,
I believe.
some would say,
Ooh.
ultimate episode.
Sensational Peter Parker, the Dracula web of
Peter Parker Spider. Peter Parker Panel
Ultimate
Pals.
2024.
Panel Pals
Peter Panel
Unlimited.
Pal. Puny Parker.
Friendly Neighborhood Panel Pals.
Ooh, that's a good one. And this was the current state of Spider-Man in general.
And
we were meant to do the comics,
Spidey
but then we kind of talked a lot about Andrew Garfield. We got some
if anything,
a little bit of Daredevil in there.
It's just current state of Spidey at this point.
Well, you know what, dude? It's our podcast. Talk about what we like. Next, Back to the Future.
Yes. Finally. The real best trilogy.
Ooh. And that can't count as defamation because it was something nice. McFly.